Okay, we're gonna go ahead and start the... Okay, we'll open the meeting back up. We had, some updates on some union negotiations, and we'll continue that process, and some update on some potential litigation. Do we need to say where it was more?
I was saying employee.
Regarding an employee issue.
Yeah.
So we'll continue to get updates on that as well. And then we're off to correspondence. Any questions on correspondence or comments? Okay.
I had my I&I inspection, went well. Brandon?
Good.
They were in and out in about 2 minutes' time.
Yeah, they did two of our buildings on Main Street. They were, yeah.
What's our percentage on that now? Do we have an update on that?
So the laterals, I think, are about 90% done, and then some pumps they're over 50%. They might be pushing 75% completed to date, so it's starting to slow down.
Are we targeting like the end of the year to try and have it wrapped up then? Or?
Yeah, it's our goal, as long as we keep on the property owners. There's been the fines have gone out, and that's gotten some response, so we've credited some of the fines as long as they're responsive and scheduling it right away. So it's been going good as far as I can see with our goal of not really is to fine people. It's more to get the inspection done. So it's kind of the stick at the end here to make sure everybody gets signed up. So
With all the work that's been done to date, you know, because there's been some laterals fixed, there's been sump pumps that have been redirected and all that kind of stuff. Did we notice, or is there any way, I mean, I know there's no exact science, but we had that rain event last week, we had 4 or 5 inches over a period of time. Is there any way to know what the wastewater treatment plant, did we treat less rainwater because we have less science? I mean, again, who knows what normal flow is, but is there any way to have a guess?
we looked at that. It still showed a very significant peak when that last rain
Okay.
event. But I think as we get more things fixed up, I do want to go back and correlate rain events to see what sort of peaking flows we had.
So like, did they go down in the end of First Northeast where that makes the turn by that little, I'll call it a park, pull that manhole there? Because when I was down there 2 years ago in 19, they had that pull, and you could just see the water the pipe was almost 3/4 full, just flying by there.
I didn't hear about them bypass pumping or looking at any manholes.
They didn't bypass, but I know they were down there looking at some flooding on Main Street. I didn't know if they would pull that just to see what the flow looked like, to see if...
Yeah, I don't know if they did that or not.
The
Okay.
only issue that I saw, that I heard about was related, and I detailed that to you, was related to the power outage.
Okay, yep,
We did have that short power outage on Friday afternoon when the Excel line to the east of town went down, where they had to switch over to the west feeder. And we did have the lift station in the little subdivision did have a few issues. They were getting ready to actually bring a generator online to run that independently because the flows were high there.
Sure.
Then the power came back on, and they were able to solve it. But
yeah, and there was some flooding on the corner of Main Street and 57 on that block to the north. But I think there were some grates covered, because there was some standing water there on 57 for a while. But not for long. I mean, just when it was the most intense rain. But I think there was the little grate in the alley behind our building, was covered, and it was coming in the back door there. But
actually, the street sweeper out doing that several times
Sure.
already this summer, and, you know, actually, I think it was a good rain event from a staff perspective, because we have some newer staff, new sewer operator, a couple new street people. We do have our, you know, pumping plan, you know, and it's good for them to recognize that in a situation that wasn't as serious, but have them ready to be able to respond to that. So, no, overall, it sounded like, I mean, and of course, the ground was very dry, so it handled the water very well.
sure.
too.
No, I just didn't know if there was a way to know flow-wise if...
I mean, that's something we could do, is we could identify some key points and have them check those. I don't know, Brandon, if we kind of have that or not.
Well, not yet, but that is something we will do moving forward. You know, it's kind of hard to compare
Sure.
storm events because different intensities and different soil conditions.
Right.
You know, the second storm that we got in 19 was actually less than the first one, but almost as bad. So it's
Sure.
very difficult to correlate those, but
Okay.
it's something we can do.
Right.
And I will report back on because I'm interested too on the flows at East Main, or East First there, where previously had some pretty impactful flooding on what level that manhole started surcharging and become more problematic.
Yeah, I'd just be interested, because when I'd never seen the flow on the sewer pipe before till 19, and it was pretty impressive how charged those pipes get and how fast the water's flying by. So, all right.
Tim, I did want to add, I did see the guys out with the street sweeper that Thursday afternoon before the storm was predicted, trying to get all of those grates cleaned up, at least on northwest side of town, and they did a great job.
Yeah, I mean, and that's something we just, you know, it's the same thing with, we have some storm drains, like, I know in town here where we go out every week and we check them. Because, if we do get a lot, in this fall, we're gonna get a lot of the debris from trees and things like that. So it just takes us having that, because we did see some real high spikes. I know that Dave, shared with me from the sewer plant, they did see a spike up. So, obviously, there's still a lot of water getting in, but, trying to do the simple things we can to make it, as good as possible, so.
Okay.
On the positive side, at least from Little's perspective, they saw what flooding did occur in Little's with this last rain event, and as soon as they start working on 10th Avenue and that retention pond, to be able to see that difference will be,
Yeah, I mean, the nice thing is
positive
basically it was
part.
dry. I went out there and there was a lot of water moving pretty fast,
Mhm.
but it was at a level we would expect it to be. And
Yep.
that's the same thing that Brandon's talking about with that pond. I mean, it's gonna be designed to move water differently. for
Right.
Small rain events versus the large rain events, where the water comes out faster or slower.
Yep.
So,
Just one little kind of technical note on that. You're right, that the pond on 10th Avenue is designed to let the small rain events out, so we can reserve our storage for the large rain events, and that is gonna knock the 100 rain event,
Right.
the rain event that we talk about that's most problematic for us, knock that down into half the flow. But with that said, the contributing drainage area off of the pond on 10th is small in comparison to the rest of the drainage area for the little subdivision, specifically to the south, all the way up into the fairgrounds, Walleye Miners property. So, my goal, and what we were addressing in the report they reviewed, last council meeting or 2 council meetings ago with the Maston Creek, report, included a little section in there, Littles. It wasn't,
Yeah.
very big, but it did basically said when the minor property develops, we need to look at a larger regional pond than what would typically be constructed there with respect to that development, to provide more regional flood protection would be, something we should at least discuss at that point, so.
I can tell you this last rain event, what was coming out of Wally's and all that other larger area as compared to what's coming out from 10th, it was much less from the larger area than it was from the 10th Avenue. Because the flow, the amount of water coming through there was much more significant coming from the 10th Avenue direction.
Could that be because the land to the south, Wally's Field, now that was just drier, so it was absorbing more water than
Probably.
being a sponge, like
Yeah,
19, it was already full at the end of March, it couldn't take
There was
anything.
no, yeah.
yep.
Maybe, I mean, not a
Meadowbrook too is
hydrologist.
gonna have a pond in it, right?
Yes, there is a pond built to the south there, but that's a different drainage, that drains right to Maston Creek, so.
yeah.
It'd be more right around the substation. I'd love to build a huge pond right on the substation and mix electrical and water, so.
Water and electricity always makes us good, Brandon.
I was on that question there, and I apologize, I know we're out of order a little bit. But about the scheduling for the 10th Street project, do we know anything on that yet?
They either started or we're gonna start the trail, along the northwest part there, or, the part to the west there. I don't know on 10th Street, I haven't got a hard schedule on that yet.
Okay.
They just did some more marking,
Locates.
like,
Yeah, I saw.
big-time
I wondered about
location,
that
so,
for anything, so.
So they're locating that, so they're done preparing for the actual, the contractor's now called in and located, so.
yeah, everything's been located out there. Okay, anything else? Entertain a motion for adjournment.
Make that motion.
Thanks, Ryan. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Thanks, Dan. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, everybody. Good meeting. See you in 2 weeks.